to Healthier, Happier Hour. I'm Kiersten. We're so glad you're here. Woo-hoo, let's go, Carli. Let's get it.
Yes, I'm Carli. We are so excited that you're here, and we are going to help you get healthy and feel better, connect in your relationships, and enjoy your life. So get ready. And I have to say, I have a new glass tonight. I have a little happy hour bev. Happy girl bev.
Are you drinking from a candle? No, bring it closer. That's awesome.
No, it's not a candle. It's just a very lovely. Don't ask me where I got it.
Okay. I won't.
Secret.
Okay.
If I finish the whole drink, I might tell you.
Oh, liquid courage.
Liquid courage.
You want to know.
Oh.
You want to know.
Okay, what's your happy hour drink of choice tonight? Because it's true happy hour. Oftentimes it's coffee or, something else, but tonight it's true happy hour.
We got happy hour, and I got some cab that Ethan got for me. And so I'm a red wine girl, and it just tastes better. You know how a meal tastes better when you didn't make it? Yes. Well, wine tastes better because Ethan got it for me, and I asked him to get it, and I was like, "Oh, thanks, babe." So he picked a good one.
Yay, go Ethan.
Yeah. So
okay. Cheers to that.
Cheers to getting here. Oh, and cheers that everything is working. Thank you, Lord, because the internet gods and technology was not forever in our favor for a second there. So
things were hit or miss there, but here we are. Okay, we cheers. We got to take a sip.
Oh, that's right.
It's bad luck if you don't.
That's right.
In case you didn't know.
We know that.
Yeah. We know this. We know this. We don't need any more bad luck this evening. We've had enough of that happening. But, Okay, so let's just dive right in. I want to give you, before we do your cheers or tears, really quick, I want to let you know where we're headed because it's going to be so good. And this has been inspired by a phrase I promised myself I would stop saying years ago that I've been saying, and I've caught myself saying, which is, it's that time of year. So for anyone out there listening who has found themselves saying, oh, it's just that time of year, and feeling really busy and a little bit crazy, like me recently, you want to stick around because we're going to help you figure out how to not just push through and survive, but do it while enjoying your life. So that's where we're going. Yes. Before we get there, let's hear your cheers or tears.
All right, cool. Well, I said I might do something rogue, and I'm going to do it. So here we go. So cheers or tears. If you're new around here, thanks for being here. We know that you have other things that you could be doing, and you chose to prioritize a healthier, happier life with us right now, hour by hour. So I'm cheering for you right now that you're here. And I want you to get maximum value from our time together. And so before I answer my cheers or tears, I want, if you're safe to do so, I'm going to kind of walk you through and see what hits you for what your cheers or tears is. And then I will see what hits me, because I was thinking, oh, I don't know which way I'm going to go. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to wait and see where I feel led to go. And let's do that together. So first thing first, I want to remind you that this is your time. So shut down the other tabs in your brain or on your computer if you're watching on YouTube, on your phone. Try to shut down the other distraction and turn the volume down on that. And let's turn the volume up on being present. If you're seated or standing, whatever you got touching the ground, kind of ground yourself, roll your shoulders back and down 3 times. And if it's safe to do so, close your eyes. I want your palms to be open rather than making a fist. So you can have it laying on your legs, or if you're standing, kind of bring it up into mountain pose. So you can truly receive all the good things that we're going to have for you today. And I want you to breathe in, hold that breath, hold it, and exhale long. So we're breathing from our belly. And with our next breath, I want you to think of something that made you happy to be alive in the last, like, 24 hours, the last week. What was a moment? I want you to breathe that in, hold it, and exhale long. And we want to, like, slow down our breath and be present. That helps our nervous system kind of elongate your exhale. And once again, I want you to drop into that moment. Whatever popped into your head, let's not judge it. That would be your cheers. That would be your cheers. And I have some coaching that we could do a tears with, but I'm just going to blink my eyes open and I feel inspired to say my cheers.
Yay! I can't wait.
All right.
Oh,
So,
so good.
oh, thank you. Okay. It just makes such a difference and it doesn't take long to kind of really drop into a good feeling. Um, so what popped into my brain, and if I would have had more time to go through that with you, I would really suggest to use all your senses. And I just did that intuitively, but I couldn't coach you on all the things, including your breath, in that short amount of time this time. But that's one of the things that really can help your brain, because our brain thinks in pictures and video clips. So in my mind's eye, I was looking for a video clip I'm grateful for, and that made me feel happy to be alive. And what popped into my brain without like directing it too far is a moment, uh, and like leading up to this moment, I was feeling a lot of stress, and that I was feeling guilt that I was feeling stress because that was making me not feel present. And I was like, things are happening to me. Why is this not working out the way it's supposed to? And I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's be present right now and notice. Like, I just kind of brought my head up from above from my belly button, what I was focused on, right? Brought my head up, and good thing because I was watching my kids, they can both swim, but they were in a hotel pool. And this was not like a luxurious experience or anything like that. So I was like, okay, seriously. But the kids were so excited to be at the pool, and it was kind of chaos there too. So it was chaos in my brain, chaos at the pool. But the kids were just so happy to be there, right?
Yeah.
And they just, I mean, they're 3 years apart and they were playing with each other, having fun. And that's sometimes hard to do with just siblings when there's not other friends involved. So
Yeah.
I was just like taking pictures in my brain of that moment and saying, like, Kiersten, don't forget to remember these moments.
Yeah.
And this is something I want to remember. And so that's the cheers of being aware that I was not where my feet were. And
Mm.
I was getting all, in my head about the different issues I was trying to solve. And then I could just like lift my head up and choose. And then right away, I noticed something like, and I felt better immediately. It's not like I was forcing myself into it. I immediately felt better. So,
So good. So good. And I love that phrase you just said, like, don't forget to remember these things. Like, it's a choice, right? Like, remember these things, hold on to these things. And I love the exercise you walked us through because that's something so simple that we can do any time of day. Like, it doesn't take a whole lot. Of course, I would love for you to guide me through that on the reg because I need someone to help me
the beautiful
do
thing
that
with podcast,
consistently.
it's really easy to go back to this podcast, make a note for yourself, and listen to that portion again. It's such a fun exercise, and I actually love doing that anytime, but especially in the evenings. It's just
Mhm.
like such a great transition and helps me sleep better actually too.
So good. And you're right. We can't be in your heads, but we can be in your ears.
That's
So
right. Let's do it. Cheers to that. I
here's
have
to
some
that.
water now.
Get some pause on the wine, get the water. You know,
Yep.
I cheers. They're gonna take a sip.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, let's get into it. I shared earlier, like one of the things that has been so impactful, I used to teach, and one of the phrases that I have had in so many conversations, and I swore like after my third year teaching that I would stop saying, and I removed this from my vocabulary, this phrase for
Okay.
years. And I just found myself like slowly starting to use it again. And I was like, oh, nope, we're not going to do that. Was, oh, it's just that time of year. Like Christmas comes around and, oh, it's just that time of year. And then the new year starts and it's busy and, oh, it's just that time of year. And then spring comes and it's just, and I dislike that phrase so much because when we say it, it's usually met with this mentality and this disdain of it is like an obstacle. It's keeping us from doing the things we want to do, or it's an excuse or a justification, a reason for like chaos or busyness or just life not being the way that we want it to be, whether that's enjoyable or healthy or just disconnected in different places. Like it can be all of those things at once sometimes. And granted, I will say, with like the utmost compassion and grace, there are seasons of everyone's lives, myself included, that just are chaotic. Like there are seasons of our lives we can look back and look forward and say, like, that's just a crazy season. Like I'm in the middle of a crazy season right now. I'm not going to try to add something else to it. Right. But I found myself for years being like, oh, it's just that time of year. This is just the way it is. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
absolutely.
I have had so many conversations with people recently and have been hearing this phrase come up again. And then I found myself starting to say, like, oh, well, it's that time of year,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? And
Isn't
I'm
that
like,
the
no, no,
worst when
no.
you're like, "I'm not gonna say that," and you hear it coming from your mouth, like, "What?"
It was like word vomit. And I was like, come back, come
Yeah,
back,
yeah, yeah. And one
rewind.
yeah, when you were saying that, I feel like it's so disempowering. It's opting out and saying like, "Why even try?" That's at least the feeling.
Yep. Throw your hands
Yeah,
up.
yeah. And we never remember when I said at the beginning, like, reminder, this is your time. Receive that this is your time. And this is your time means that guess what? You got the power. I don't know if that's the words of the song or not,
That's,
but I felt like it.
that's There's our song for this episode.
There we go. We always have one.
There's always one.
There she is. Yeah.
There she
So
goes.
let's all right.
Yeah.
So we don't like feeling disempowered.
Right.
As coaches,
Right.
we don't want you to feel like disempowered because as soon as you do, then you don't even try. You don't even
Exactly.
show up. You don't even think that you have a choice when we do.
Hmm.
We do.
Exactly. It's just like this automatic toss your hands up, throw in the towel. It's not even an option,
Yeah.
really. Like
Yeah.
you've surrendered before the game has begun.
Yeah.
Um, and we don't want to do that. We don't want to live that way. And that does not lead to an enjoyable life, doesn't lead to a healthy life. It certainly doesn't lead to a happy life. And
Right.
we are all about healthier and happier
Yeah.
and enjoying it through the process. And even when you are truly in the middle of like a tornado, it's that time of year season, we still want to help you enjoy that season as best as we can too.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
I'm kind of thinking maybe it would be helpful, we're both coaches, like what would be some things that you would kind of share with or say to somebody who's coming to you saying like, Kiersten, I'm in the middle of this journey or I'm at the beginning of this journey. Like, I really want to change my life. I want to be healthier. I want to be happier, yada, yada, yada. But it's really just that time of year. I just can't do another thing. And they use that as kind of an excuse or a justification or something else. How would you help them direct or kind of create a mental shift? Because that's really what it is, right? Like, we're
Right.
trying to shift that. What would be some questions or some things you would
Yeah.
do to help them overcome that and maybe take that first step towards transformation and
Yes.
get on that journey, that path towards possibility of a healthier, happier life that they're ultimately going to enjoy.
Right. And so it's always like whenever we're speaking in hypotheticals, it's a little bit more challenging, but let's
Yeah.
be real.
Yeah.
We all have been here, and
Mhm.
you just said to us, you felt yourself and you heard yourself saying it out loud, or at least in your head, right?
Yes.
And so just like I had to do, and before I was able to take the perspective off my own belly button and my stress for my cheers, that is the first step. And I would look for ways that, like, shame is coming up. We don't want shame to be our tool of change,
Mm.
because that is not a sustainable and good tool. We use it a lot. And I know that sometimes I catch myself using it on myself too. It is not a good tool in the long term, right?
No.
And there's a reason we're smart people that we do that, because it can, like, sometimes get us what we quote unquote want in the short term, shaming
Mhm.
ourselves. But like, let's take anytime we notice ourselves using that on ourselves or others, take it out of the toolbox and let's put in some other tools. So the first one is, I would say, as soon as you're aware, know that you're winning. And there's no
Mm.
shame in that. You just became aware of it. And to kind of think about, how language is so powerful, right?
Yeah.
Too. And saying that and like throwing your hands up in the air. But if someone was saying that to me, I, as you're listening here, you're listening for a reason. If someone was saying that to me, I would first want to recognize and say, hey, you're not totally disempowering yourself. You did choose to show up. You are listening. So let's
Yeah.
take that first step. And the first step is taking that pause. And in your example earlier, that yes, there's going to be more chaotic times than others. And, you know, I mean, I know I've mentioned several times about what my therapist says to me, but, I do have a pattern. And she's like, that's how you like it. Like, I'm like, things are always crazy, good things, crazy things. Like, and she's like, that's how you like it. And I'm like,
Mhm.
ooh, yeah,
Yes.
I am creating that experience for myself. And it's true. I really do like excitement and transformation. And so sometimes I can create that, right? But then also there's going to be these X factors that I don't know are coming, but
Mhm.
they'll be coming. And so, you know, I would say too, to dig in, what's the cost? What's the cost of saying it's just
Mm.
that time of year? So let's do that. Like, this feels like
Yeah.
this is the
Yeah.
time right now. Once again, let's drop our shoulders. Let's focus back on our breath. If it's safe to do so, close your eyes and really ask yourself, very specific to you, what's the cost emotionally, physically, your cost from a goals perspective, cost financially of saying, oh, it's this time of year? What are some things that come up for you, Carli? I had some things come
Mm.
up. What's the cost when you choose that for your life? Choose that phrase.
Yeah. I mean, you're just delaying. You're just delaying. Like this is the word that comes up for me is I just kept hearing the word delay. Like
Mm.
we're just delaying the inevitable because ultimately, like I know the thing that I want, to be healthier, to be happier, to be more connected within my family, to have systems, routines, more connection, more time together. If I'm not choosing to pour into those things, I'm just delaying that further down the road. I'm making it harder for myself. I'm making it harder for my family because the reality for me right now is, and I'm thinking again of my family as a whole, I have young kids. Like our lives are going to be busier. They're not going to slow down.
Right,
Like
right.
things are not going to probably become calmer or less chaotic. It's just going to be increasingly busier. And that doesn't mean, you know, we have to fall into the trap of crazy schedules. Like we get to choose, we get to decide
Mhm.
when to say no, we
Yeah.
get to decide when to pull back. And
Mhm.
so, we have a lot of conversations about that. But at the same time, it's up to me, and my husband to make the intentional effort to say, okay, well, we're going to start implementing things now because it's not necessarily going to get easier. And we're just delaying it is just making it seem further out of reach and harder. And so the cost is our health is delayed, our happiness is delayed, our kids seeing us choose ourselves is delayed.
Yeah.
So it's just that for me is just the word that comes up is
Yeah.
everything that we want is just delayed.
Yeah. And what came up, I love that. So everything's being delayed. What popped into my brain, and I'm sure whatever popped into your brain came for a reason. So I want you to acknowledge that. What popped into my brain was about when I opt out like that, and then I'm just leaving it to chance. So I can't choose what to cut
Mhm.
back on. It will be chosen for me at either random or whoever is, you know, the situation. So, like, when you notice, okay, let's all have grace for ourselves. When you like want to say that, you're saying that for a reason. You have a feeling that maybe it's too much. And then that's another thing to check in with, how is that making you want to feel? Is that the kind of culture you want your mood to be? Or, if you have a family or if you have a partnership, like what's the mood and the energy you want around it? It's definitely not disempowered. That's not the first word that comes on my vision board.
No.
It is
No.
empowered. It is inspired. It is energy. It is choice. It is freedom. And so that would be my next question is like, what do you want to feel? And I want
Yeah.
you to just drop into that right now. And guess what? We could say, oh, yeah, stop saying that, Kiersten. Stop saying that, Carli. Or if someone's coming us, to coach, we can kind of give them a little lecture. But you know what's better than any of that is realizing the alternative of like, no, no, no. How do I want to feel? I want to feel like I have a choice. So as soon as I notice that overwhelm, that's something that comes up for me. That
Mhm.
overwhelm, that like life is happening to me, as I said earlier. I can choose
Yeah.
to pick my head up, slow my breath down. I have different tools and I have different coaches and accountability. And Carly and I have each other. You have us. I mean, it's multifaceted because we are multifaceted people, right?
Yes.
And the
Yeah.
obstacles are coming from different directions. I don't know if it's always going to be physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, relational, whatever it is, right? And just know, I want to encourage you. If you notice it, you're already winning. So
You're
throw
already
your
winning.
hands in the air, ooh, 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 and know that you're already winning, and you get to choose then. And so what came up for me is like, if the cost is one of the major costs for me is delaying, yes, and then also taking away my choice and deciding what's a priority. So, boom, there you go. I think if you follow that pattern, I think you're taking shame out of the toolbox and saying, like, here's these three other tools, try them all.
Yeah.
And it will help you kind of get to the next step.
No, that's so awesome. And I think what you said is so critical. Like even thinking about how the question that you asked, I think is a great starting place. Like, how do you want to feel? How do you feel right now? how do you feel right now and how do you want to feel?
Yeah.
Right? And what's going to get you there?
Yeah.
Because your life and the season that you're in is probably not going to change. Your circumstances, unless you take a
Unless you
drastic
change.
shift of some kind,
Unless
might
you
change.
change. Yeah.
But you get to decide.
Yeah.
So if you want to scale back on something, if that's what you need to do, then do that, scale back. But asking yourself those questions, how do I feel right now? And do an assessment, take stock, talk with your partner, talk with your family, like what's going well, what's not going well. And then think about how do I want to feel and what can I do to make that happen? Yes, it's busy. Yes, it's that time of year,
Yeah.
but I still get to decide. I still get to choose. So what's one way that I'm going to what is one way that I'm going to step towards living healthier and happier for myself in this journey today?
Yeah. Today.
And what am I going to think about a month from now, a week from now, a year from now? How am I going to feel? Because you're probably going to feel a lot differently a month from now in a more positive and a better way than you do today. It's going to be better. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
So
I feel good.
woo.
I feel good.
So let's give people, I think it would be helpful. We talked through like a ton of different strategies, different ways to kind of help us create that mental shift and like work through, the mindset work and then even some actionable things of like getting through it's that time of year, but let's just, if we could boil it down, maybe kind of one key nugget, action step, takeaway that we could share with people. And before we share that, maybe just tell people like if they're wanting more consistent, like more direct work with us, or more support, where can they find us? How can they connect with us? What's the best place to do that? What's the best way to find us? Give them some of that info, and then let's leave them with just one gold nugget to go and implement for the rest of this healthier, happier hour.
Awesome. So first of all, healthierhappierhour.com is our website. And we want to work with you because we're here weekly. We want you to keep on listening. We want to keep on being in your ear because it really does matter. One squat is not going to change your life, but if we get our reps in, it can transform and change your life, right? Or at least your booty when you're talking about squats, all right? So we want to connect. Healthierhappierhour.com is our website. Our handle is Healthier Happier Hour across all mediums, but don't just passively connect, reach out. So sign up to get our reset. We'll send you a little gift if you sign up to be a part of our community, and it's completely free to do so. It's completely free to listen to this podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. It comes out on YouTube as well if you like to watch the video, see what we're drinking on video, our cups and all that fun stuff. If you could, with all this, we want to keep on being able to pour into this. So if you like this episode, share it with a friend. Do it right now. How you could help us out is follow in all those places, and it will share with other people. It will help the algorithm share with other people who need to hear this too. So share with your friends, follow it, but then also if you would take a minute or two and just review it. I know that's like a few things, but listen, be an action taker. So we are trying our best to be generous with you. Will you be generous with us as well and write a review and share the episodes you do like? If it's not an episode you like, just keep on listening. You're going to find an episode you love. Share that one with your friends. And so that way you can have someone, when you say it out loud. I just said this to a friend the other day, and I was like, pseudo coaching her without her realizing it, right? But then since we were just chatting about it back and forth, I had her share a commitment with me around whatever she was talking about. And then I thought to myself, listen, she's not paying for my coaching right now. Has she before? Yes. But right now and so I was like, and here's what I'm committed to for healing with this
Yeah.
medical thing I'm about to go through soon. So then I had that source of accountability. And since we both said it to each other, guess what? My word means something,
Magic.
especially when it leaves my head and I say it to someone else. Like all of a sudden, we're going to be more likely, both of us are going to be more likely to do that. So do that with your friends with these episodes, but don't stop there. Don't try to piecemeal this together. Get the support you need by actually connecting with us so you can get in, whether it be like personal coaching with us or group coaching, or just pop it in and see what it's like on our next happy hour that we only email out to our list. So
Very exclusive.
yes,
Come join the party.
do it.
Bring your friends. Yeah.
Awesome.
And the best part is if you connect with us on one of those mediums, you can also influence what we talk about here on the podcast because we get to hear from you and know, okay, this is something that would be helpful. Great. We're going to do a podcast episode on it. So
Yes.
the more you engage with us, the more influence you get to have on what we share and talk about here. So that's so awesome. And we love communicating and talking with listeners and friends and hanging out. So, all right, take it away. Give us a gold nugget of sorts. What is our action step, our takeaway? How can we create this mental shift and get out of this disempowering? It's that time of year. Nonsense.
Yeah. So I'm sure we can all think of something. So let's think of some complaint, some reason we would say that. Okay. So imagine that in your head right now. We're not going to stay there long. Don't worry. So imagine a reason you might say that or be tempted to say that. And I want us all to, we're taking this full circle. So we just noticed what is making us feel like chaos. And sometimes when we throw our hands up and are disempowered in those ways, it is a cop out because if we actually would be like, no, let's think about this. Let's actually say, what am I unhappy about? And then guess what? We have to do a really challenging thing. And I want us to work this muscle is what you want is worth something. So think about, here's the path. Roll your shoulders back and down, full circle. Think about what feels like the chaos and that's bringing that up for you. And then let's think of, cool, I'm aware. And let's take our eyes off our belly button and lift our head up and think about a moment that brought you joy, a moment in your last 24 hours or a week, and ask yourself, how could I make some environment in our life, in my life, that would shift to that direction rather than this direction that I'm clearly not loving? So that does like two major things that shows your brain and yourself that one, you got the power. Two, that you do have something that you're like really excited to notice, that you're really grateful for, that moment in the pool where I was like, oh my goodness, don't miss this, Kiersten.
Yes.
Don't miss it.
So good. Don't miss it. And you're making room for more of it.
Yeah, exactly. Because we need a whole podcast episode for this and you need to coach me on it. But I have a real hard time pulling things off my plate. But what you just said right there makes me think, ooh, when we're noticing what things feel chaotic and we're pulling things off our plate, that's hard for me to do in general and know that about myself. But if I can just remember what you just said, I'm making room for more of those moments I think that will help me get over the hump of resistance and be like, okay,
Yeah.
it's worth the effort because that's
It's worth
amazing.
it.
So
You're making room for more of what's better.
So take action
So
on
good.
this. Take action on this. Go
Do
get
it.
them. Healthierhappierhour.com is our website. Healthier Happier Hour across all mediums. Let's be friends. Let's connect.
Let's do it.
What you want to hear next?
Yes,
Yay!
we can't wait. So proud of you for being here, and we can't wait to hear from you next time. We're cheering for you.
Cheers! We're cheering for you.
Cheering for you.